everyone. Welcome back for another episode of the Cup of Joe show. I'm Joe, that's Jeremy, and we're here for you. We got movie review, we got the box office, and we got upcoming movies that are coming out this weekend, which is the definition of upcoming movies. So I guess we're going to hop right into it. We had another David Fincher film come out last weekend called Gone Girl, based on a book by some girl.
Jillian something.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's Gillian.
Yeah, it's either
It's
Gillian or Jillian.
Flynn, perhaps?
Sure.
Something. That's definitely her first name.
It is, yeah, you're right. So we had the David Fincher adaptation, and once again, I think David Fincher came through. Honestly, he got a lot out of Rosamund Pike. She was fantastic. Holy cow! It's quite possible that she'll be an Oscar nominee, and that performance was just great. Probably the best I've seen by a female actress so far this year. Although maybe I'm missing something, but she was spectacular. This was the best acted film for Ben Affleck as well. I don't think he'll get any Oscar attention, but I think that he totally fit a role in that film, and he fit it perfectly. He had the right build. He combined being charming with also being big enough that he's also kind of terrifying. Some of the shots were just incredible. I hate to say that we're gonna have to get into spoiler territory eventually to talk about this film.
Just all bets are off.
Yeah, all bets are off.
Spoilers.
I mean, the book
spoilers ahoy.
Yeah, I mean, the book has been out, and so has the movie for a week. So if you wanted to see it, I'm sure you've probably seen it. This is the scene where she kills Neil Patrick Harris is a wonderfully shot, and I hate to say oh, it was wonderful when he slit his throat. She slit his throat, but yeah, it was just so it was terrifying, and it was just so beautifully shot. To me, that was the best scene of the film, and this was chocked full of them. Honestly, it had the right tone, it had the right lighting. It was just kind of always dim and murky, if you will. And it just, the story was great, and you have to credit the author with that, who also wrote the screenplay. But you also have to credit David Fincher, because that's what he does. He really gets the most out of the material that's at his hands. I mean, you've seen that with The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo as well. He did a fantastic job there with already great material that existed. So, I mean, all around, this was a great film. I can nitpick. Why did Ben Affleck go to the bar with the person he was cheating on his wife with? Why would he go to his bar? She could, his wife could obviously turn up, which she did, but it's just, I don't know. When you're nitpicking, it means it's a fantastic film. So that's really the deal. That's what it boils down to. To me, it was a great film.
Yes, I agree. Like you said, that one scene where Amy slashes Desi's throat was it was definitely a standout, that's for sure. And to add to what you said, I thought the music also was a big factor. The film was scored by Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails fame, along with Atticus Ross, who also scored The Social Network.
Yeah.
So they do well, and I thought their style definitely suited the film. But all around, it was just very, very well done. It's a long movie. It's 2.5 hours, but I didn't really feel the length that much. I mean, maybe in the middle there a little, and kind of toward the end. But the thing, I mean, like, the plot and the characters were so gripping that I didn't really mind. Like, even when the movie ended, I was like, no, I want to see more. Come on, Nick, get the best of her.
I know. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you said. I think Amy as a whole, I hated her.
Yeah.
She was one of the most despicably, unrepentantly evil characters. Just, I realized she had, you know, a kind of messed up childhood and had to live up to an unrealistic standard set by her parents. But, like, come on. That doesn't justify how evil she was. And it's my understanding that in the novel, Nick is somewhat less sympathetic, so there's more, like, you know, moral ambiguity there. But in the movie, I couldn't help but be 100% on his side. I don't know if you're supposed to take sides, but I couldn't help it. So that's my thought on the matter. But yeah, Rosamund Pike knocked it out of the park, which is, I mean, good for her because she hasn't really done much of anything.
Yeah, I don't know if it's particularly her. It's just the awful movies that she's been in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this the performance really came out of nowhere, and you know, anyone that could make Nick look like a good and sympathetic character in that film, wow, she is evil. Nick was not a good person either, and I wish I could say the one line because it was fantastic when she comes back and like goes into his arms and he's just like
I fist pumped
I know
in the theater.
I know. That was so awesome.
It was so satisfying.
Yeah, but anyway,
it's a very naughty word.
It is. It's a couple very naughty words, actually.
Yeah, like
but
the naughtiest. We try to keep it PG.
That's right. So, a great film, but I mean, what do you expect out of a Fincher film? I mean, he's fantastic, and this is. I want this to happen. I want this to be a Prisoners came out around this time last year. I think that there should be a movie like this, or just have like a Fincher. This should be Fincher's film slot, and we should just have like this mysterious thriller that should be made like every year, or whoever made Prisoners. I don't know, but there should be a type of movie. It wasn't Fincher.
I'm not sure who that was.
But yeah, there should be a movie like that in that slot every year because they're fantastic. But anyway,
Agreed.
that's Gone Girl.
Yeah.
So now we move on. Jeremy's going to get into the box office.
Okay, well, as a slightly off-topic aside about the box office, most of, and by most I mean all of the time, I get my box office figures and information from Box Office Mojo. Box Office Mojo is a wonderful site, very well organized, tons of information there, lots of charts, figures, stats, everything, pretty much anything you can want as a box office junkie. A few years ago, IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, which is an extremely well-known and powerful site, bought out Box Office Mojo. Box Office Mojo used to have a really good message board system where people would go on and discuss the box office and everything. When IMDb got them, they got rid of that, which was very disappointing because the box office forums on IMDb are not anywhere near as good. So that said, yesterday, Box Office Mojo was down, and later in the day, when you tried to go to it, it just redirected you to the box office charts on IMDb, which seems to indicate that they may be, assimilating Box Office Mojo into themselves, which would be extremely disappointing. I like IMDb, but if they're going to do this the way that they did with the forums, it's not good at all, and IMDb... If anyone affiliated with that is watching, don't do it. Leave Mojo alone. They do it better than you do. Just leave them alone. Trust me. So that's my rant.
Do you want me to bring Dr. Manhattan in? I said, leave me alone!
Yes, and we could teleport IMDb to Mars.
There you go. Perfect.
So anyway, I'll be using the charts on IMDb for today, and hopefully not next week. But,
Right.
we'll see what happens there. Okay, so anyway, fifth place was The Maze Runner. That grossed 11.6. I don't know how much it was down because IMDb doesn't tell me. It has a total of 73.6 million. If it can put in a good hold over Columbus Day weekend, which I don't see any reason why it shouldn't, it can probably find its way to 100. It's doing very well overseas, and I mean, it could maybe make 250 million-ish worldwide, maybe even 300 if it really catches on. So, I think a sequel was definitely justified.
Yeah.
It was also a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
The number 4 film was The Box Trolls. That grossed 12 million and has a total of 32.1. That's a solid hold. It's not as good as the likes of Coraline, so it doesn't look like the Box Trolls will get that high, but still not bad, especially considering how weird it looked. Third place was The Equalizer. That made 18.8 million for a total of 64.2. That's a solid, not spectacular hold, but it should find its way to 100 million. Unfortunately, it's facing some competition for adult audiences from Gone Girl, so that's kind of stealing some of its thunder. So we'll see what happens there. Now, our top 2 films were locked in a battle for the top spot. They ended up very close. And the number 2 spot went to Annabelle, and that opened to 37.1 million, which is enormous. That's only a few million off The Conjuring, and that's incredible. I really liked The Conjuring. It was a scary, good movie. That said, I think Annabelle looks kind of stupid. Part of me still wants to see it, but anyway, slice. That's a really good gross. I don't think it'll have much in the way of legs, so I mean, maybe like 85 million total. I cannot see it hitting 100. Finally, our number 1 movie was Gone Girl, and that made 37.5 million. Especially considering that this was, a very, very dark, R-rated, adult thriller. That's a really good result. Those kinds of movies usually do not open that high. So, I think that's fantastic. I'm happy for it. It should have good legs, I would hope. So 100 million shouldn't be a problem at all. And we'll just have to see how high it can go after that.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised that Gone Girl did end up beating out Annabelle. Granted, it was by a very small margin, but I thought Annabelle did make a lot of money.
It did.
Don't get me wrong, but I didn't think Gone Girl had it, but it totally did, and it's well deserved. It was, as we said, it was a fantastic film. Annabelle. I actually sat through a trailer on TV and for the first time. Wow, it really does look dumb. And the Equalizer hanging in there. So I mean, overall, it's a pretty good box office weekend, I've got to say.
Yeah, I would say, especially for this time of year.
Mm-hmm, definitely. So now we're going to move on. We've got this weekend's upcoming films, which already came out yesterday. But there's 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. Technically 4, but we're just going to skip over Addicted.
The main, yeah. All right. Let's start with Alexander and the Terrible No Good Very Bad Day. I feel like I forgot one.
Close enough.
All right, so this is getting decent reviews. It's in the 60 percentile in, I think it's 64% at Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know. It looks okay. It looks like a nice little family film, but nothing to really go out, like, I don't know, rush out to the theaters to to see.
Yeah.
I
I think that Alexander, the long title,
don't know.
can capitalize on the lack of family movies in the marketplace. We've got things like, Gone Girl, Annabelle, The Equalizer, even The Maze Runner appealing to like teens and young adults. So there's nothing really out there for families right now. So if it can tap into that, it could do all right for itself. A 20 million opening isn't out of the question.
Right. The next movie we've got The Judge with looks like a pretty strong cast. Leading, you have Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall as the leads. So I mean, but nothing. I don't know. Nothing really looks very different about this film. It kind of looks like it's going to be a typical, courtroom film.
It looks like Oscar bait, like it's trying too hard to be an Oscar movie.
Yeah, and it's gonna fail. I don't know. I just I would see it, but again, it's just not. It's not something I'm running out the door to see. And it looks like it's like 2.5 hours long, maybe, and it's just that's too long for that film. I don't know. I could just see it being pretty boring and pretty dull, honestly.
I agree.
There we go. And we have our last film, Dracula. Drink Dracula. Welcome to your life. That's the song that plays. I probably just did it better. But anyway.
Don't badmouth Lord.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that was Lord. Wow. I feel like that just sounds different. All right. Anyway.
That's a cover.
Okay. Yeah, Dracula. I don't know. It looked okay, and like as I see more and more trailers, it looks not good at all. It seems like they're just overusing the him turning into a bat thing, like way too much. And I don't know. He's a strong lead. I wish I could remember his actual name.
Luke Evans?
Luke Evans, that's it. Thank you.
No relation.
Yeah.
I'm also not related to Chris.
That's just true.
Despite my Captain America.
Yeah. You just wish you were Chris, is all.
I do.
Yeah, me too. So I don't know. Again, here's another movie that it just it looks like it could be okay, but just I don't know. There's just nothing. There's nothing really about it, and like as there were more trailers that kind of came out, it's just like I don't know about that one. What's that?
Yeah, basically, it's the kind of movie that like if it was on TV and I was bored, I would totally watch. I don't want to pay $9 to go to the theater and see it, but yeah, I do like Luke Evans too. It's nice to see him, get a lead role after. Well, he wasn't. He was kind of forgettable in Fast and Furious 6, but I liked him in Desolation of Smaug.
Right.
But yeah, apparently Universal wants Dracula Untold to be the start of like a shared like monster universe, like Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein, all that, which I think would be really cool. I like monsters and Halloween and scary stuff and all that. I don't think Dracula Untold is going to do well enough to kickstart that universe, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll kill overseas.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I don't think this is Iron Man.
No.
It's just like so. It's just I don't.
Or even Man of Steel.
Yeah. Honestly, so I don't see it. I mean, like you said, that is an interesting. It's an interesting idea, but. I agree. I don't think Dracula's the one to. This is going to be the one to get it rolling. But hey, we'll see what happens. We got 30 seconds left. Any thoughts?
Well, the Eagles facing the Giants tomorrow night, Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
They're probably going to lose.
I actually agree with that. I'm sorry. I agree with that. The Packers are playing the Dolphins. Everyone's picking the Dolphins, so I love being the underdog. Usually means they win. They usually come through when they're the underdog. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Have a good week, guys.